We're here with Chordale Booker. How are you? How you feeling?
I'm good. Made weight.
You made weight. That sets everything, right?
Yeah, now I'm good. I'm just gonna rest now.
For all the fight fans, what are you bringing tomorrow and your fight?
Tomorrow you could look for speed. Look for me to control the pace of the fight. I don't really know too much about my opponent, so I don't know if he's gonna come forward, move backward, brawler. I see a little bit of video, but I'm kind of in those videos. He went forward in some, backwards in some, so I just gotta figure it out tomorrow.
Yeah. What does it represent for you to, being here right now in New York and also fighting out where you actually come from, Connecticut, right?
Right. Well, it's big for me. It's huge for me. A lot of people probably don't look at their first being as an undercard on a big card like this, getting on TV. It's that big, but for me, this is everything, because I didn't expect to be here. So,
Is something that you actually pictured, like being here before, or?
Yeah, it was a dream, but to actually capture something like this it feels unreal at times. But I know I put in a lot of work to be here, and I told myself I was going to get here.
Definitely. I mean, you are here, ready to make show, tomorrow night. And you weight division, what are you pursuing? You're pursuing one day, to conquer, one of the titles. What's the most prestigious title that, you could gain in your career?
Oh, well, right now, to this fight I had to take it at 160, but I'm really fighting at 154. I've been fighting at 154. So I really want to be super welterweight champion, junior middleweight champion, and eventually move up to 160 and be a champion there. I really think that I have the skill to do that, be two different weight classes, and be at the top of the sport. So I'm just taking it one day at a time, one fight at a time. But I really believe in my heart I could be there.
Yeah, I mean, eventually you have a pretty good record, and definitely you put in, I think everything on the line is that one thing that you actually pursuing, to be one of the greatest, athlete from where you come from.
Oh, I feel like I'm already there, honestly. From Stanford, I feel like I've already surpassed what Stanford has brought to professional sports in any sport. I can't think of any other athlete who has made it to the top. I mean, we have some players who made it to the NBA, but nobody who you can just name. And I just feel like I've done a lot for Stanford, but there's so much more I want to do for my community.
Oh wow, that's great when you talk about also when your life, their career, and your community. What was it that it got you involved in boxing?
Well, I was always getting into fights growing up, so I was always fighting. Middle school, I read a book about just a guy in trouble. I thought I wanted to box then, but there was no boxing gyms. High school came, I was playing basketball. I graduated high school and I had no more sports.
Yeah.
So I went to the boxing gym and said, boxing is what I'm going to do. And I've been boxing ever since.
That's interesting, your story. And eventually, it's great for the sports also. But also, I think from your community, I think it means a lot. Is that, true that it means a lot?
Yeah, I mean, it's everything for me to be representing my community, where I've grown up at, to be the athlete that kind of puts Stanford on the map or has people looking at other talent in Stanford, because we do have other talent in Stanford, but you don't know about it because it's just such a small town, and we don't get the same, we don't have the same
exposure, I think,
for people coming there. We don't have tourists, things like that. So
being a role model, I think from your family, from your team, and your community, what's the message that you could bring to this youth, and these youth, the that we're seeing right now. Some of the kids sometimes they don't know what they're gonna do in their life. So, what's the message that you could bring to all this, the new generation, the new kids, and most likely everybody?
Main thing is that first of all, you're young, so you can always do anything. You have a ton of time. I picked up boxing when I was 19, turning 20, and I'm 27, and I made it here. I'm at the biggest fights, fighting on undercard, the biggest fights. But with that being said, that you have to put in that type of work. In 5 years, I fought 130 amateur fights. So I put in a lot of work and I put in a lot of time. So it wasn't all just, I'm going to do this. I had to put a lot of work behind it. So to get back to what you're saying is how much effort these young kids are willing to put in for whatever it is they say they want to do. Your effort has to match what you're saying that you want to do.
Yeah.
You have to actually put in that type of work.
It's so interesting to hear, your story, because at the end of the day, you bring some good energy, some good positive message to all these, youth that sometimes some of them they waste their time, and I think it's you being a good role model for for your community and everybody else. Have you ever attended to a school and speak, about the careers and everything like that?
Yeah. I spoke to my high school. I went to my high school a few times. I spoke to the Boys and Girls Club around my community. Yearwood Center. The list goes on. I mean, middle schools, my old elementary school, Roxbury. I try to just give what I can. I participate in like school events and everything.
Wow.
I just want to show my face and let them know like there is somebody who cares, and you could come to the gym that we have, and that's what helped me. It helped me when I had a dark moment in my life. So maybe it can help another kid, whether they want to be a boxer or not. It's just somewhere they could talk to somebody who's been through it.
Yeah.
And just
and get related.
Some frustration, punch the bag, hit the pads, even just lift weights or, some type of activity.
Activity, yeah, exactly. And keep it, these people that, kids and, out of the street, out of, things like that cause, sometimes trouble. What was for you, or what was it, the reaction when you went for the first time back to your school? Like probably the teachers, or I don't know if someone would say, "Hey, that's him." What was the reaction like?
Yeah, I had some teachers who remember me because of boxing. So they're like, I remember when we used to go here. Like we didn't know what happened to you. Then we just started hearing your name that you're boxing. So it was some teachers who were saying that, and then there's a lot of teachers who were like, I remember when you used to be a bad kid, he did this. So I get both stories.
Both stories, but
yeah.
At the end of the day, I think you made the right decision. You are in the right path, and you also want to pursue greatness, which is I wish for every boxer, in this career. It's not easy. You said you made a lot of fights, and definitely you gained the spot where you at right now, and we're gonna still see, the develop from you and everything. Tomorrow night is your night. What's the message that you could bring, for and invite to all your fight fans?
I just want my fans to tune in and see how I've been working. I mean, this has been the hardest I've worked. I could say that all my other fights I kind of stayed with the same thing that has been working for me, and this fight I got pushed a little bit harder than I'm normally pushed. Took myself out of my comfort zone. I was in Atlanta for a week, sparring different guys every day, sparring light heavyweight, sparring super middleweight, sparring welterweights, sparring super welterweight. It was just different weights every day, different work, tall, short, heavier guys. So I'm just prepared for everything right now, and I feel real confident about what I'm going to do tomorrow.
Wow, great to hear, your story. Ready for tomorrow. any social media where all the fight fans they could follow you, know your story, and know everything that you will be doing?
What I have is what I'm doing is Instagram. You can follow me at the gift_7 or Facebook Chordale Booker. You can type me on any social media Chordale Booker and it'll pop up. I put my real name on everything.
Oh, great! I mean, I know the fight fans that will stay tuned, also follow your story, and in my behalf, I wish you the best and all the greatness that you can conquer in your life and a career too.
I appreciate that.
God bless you, and good luck tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Appreciate you.